Hey friends, welcome back to my reading vlog. This reading vlog is largely documenting my reads during the Black Author Readathon, but I do have a couple others tucked in for various other group reads. So for today, it's about it's actually about 2 p.m. here. I have listened to a little bit more of Writing Her In, and I'm really loving this one. It's just, it's like so perfectly, I know like I typically have like a graph of like how emotional the book is and like how like much it like delves into like the interior lives of these people and like their personal growth and like how hot a book is, and usually it's either like this or like this, and there's like a sweet spot right in the middle where it's like both, like it hits me just as hard emotionally as it like literally bangs, and this book really is getting both of those. Like I'm really enjoying the character work that Holly Trent is doing, and it's also like really sexy, really fun. I think I have like the audiobook is 7 parts and I'm finishing up part 5, so I'm getting pretty close to the end here. I don't think this is a series. It might be. Watch me find out that it's a series and I have to read the next 2 books. We'll see. I think that if I don't finish that tonight, then I will finish it probably tomorrow morning. I've got some work to do over the weekend. So that's where I'm at with that. I haven't started, just because I've been working this morning, I haven't started Wild Rain, not Sweet Rain. I haven't started Wild Rain yet, but that is my next Kindle read. Really excited about that. I'll definitely keep y'all posted. I might go spoilery with that one because it does release pretty soon. We shall see. But the arc I'm reading that I'm not going to be spoilery about is the Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shupe. I'm doing a buddy read of this with a couple other friends. I got to chapter 10 this morning. I'm still very much enjoying this book. It's interesting. I'm trying to think of how much I want to divulge. I'm at chapter 10, which is roughly, I'm like that far. Really enjoying it. Excuse me. Really enjoying it thus far. I want to double down on my like Sabrina vibes, and also the one I said about Sarah McLean. It's similar vibes to Day of the Duchess. It's really working for me so far. There's a little bit of a like the hero's fighting another dude for the heroine, and I don't find that to be like as compelling just because I'm like, I want it to be about the couple. But it's phenomenal writing. I always forget how hot Joanna Shupe's books are. Like every time I don't know every time, but frequently I'll return to one of her books and be like, wait, what? And this one is delivering. Thus far it's just been like sexual tension and like thinking dirty thoughts, but that bodes well for me. So that's where I'm at there. I might do, if I'm done with work at a reasonable time, I might do a little bit of like a reading sprint. We will see. I'll be checking it again later. Bye guys. Hey friends, today I am popping in with another installment. I was going to try and do another video last night, but I didn't end up reading because one of my good friends was celebrating her birthday, and so she came over for a bit and we had some really delicious tacos, we had some cupcakes, and some really delicious champagne, and I have some leftovers this morning. So I thought I would do, since I didn't get to do any more reading yesterday, I thought I would do a little reading vlog, or not a reading vlog, a reading sprint today. So I've got some pink champagne and this is a pumpkin cupcake. So I thought I would just hang out for a bit, do some reading sprints, and update you on the book that I'm reading, because I am reading an arc of Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins. This one comes out on Tuesday, so actually by the time I'm gonna balance that there for now. By the time that I post this video, it's gonna be only a few days until this book comes out. So I am gonna do some spoilers in this video. So PSA, the next little bit is gonna have some spoilers for Wild Rain. Probably not too in depth. I will let you know what to beware of. So, shall we? Oh, that's good. Oh, and by the way, Wild Rain is, I believe, the second book. It's the second book in the Women Who Dare series. Okay, first off, the dedication of this book is to the women who love horses and those who refuse to change their minds. And immediately I'm just like, Crystal. Crystal, my girl, this might be the book for you. Okay, that is an amazing, amazing pumpkin muffin. Pumpkin cupcake, excuse me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This book starts off with a bang. Not a literal bang, unfortunately, but that's okay. So Spring, the heroine, is riding home. Do I have something on my forehead? No, it's just on my phone. The heroine Spring is riding home in a snowstorm and sees this horse that she's never seen before without a rider, but with packages. So she's like, oh, I need to go check and see if the rider is okay. And it's a man who's like limping, and so she saves him, pulls him up, and like, I think that she gives him blankets. And so like when they get to her place, which is only a half-mile away, she's like, get inside, put on a fire, like, and so she's putting the horses away in the stable, and she gets back and the guy's asleep on her couch, and she's like, she goes, the wet blankets would ruin the sofa her sister-in-law Regan recently convinced her to buy, and Spring was the only person allowed to damage it. And like that energy of like, this is a nice thing that I own, and if anyone's gonna ruin it, it's gonna be me. Just like very relatable. Okay, also the hero's trying to he's trying to get all of his wet clothes off, and because Spring is like, you need to make sure you change so I don't need to like deal with the sick man, which valid. So he's like trying to get it off, and he's like, ugh, these new shoes are like tight. I don't know if I have to be able to take them off. And she's like, don't scream, and just like yanks them off. And I'm really just enjoying that Spring is a very capable heroine. Okay, this is something that I kind of love. So the hero is like a reporter, and he's supposedly coming to Paradise to report on Colt, Spring's brother, who's the doctor. And he's like asking questions about Colt, and she's like answering them, but kind of like begrudgingly. And he's like, oh, like, does he and his wife have children? Like, tell me more about this. And then he's like, and you? And she goes, she met his eyes. Me what? Do you have a husband? She shook her head. An intended? And she's like, are you always as nosy? And he's like, part of the job, I have to ask questions. And then she says, no husband, and I don't intend to have one. And I just love the energy, like, because intended obviously means more like, because there's someone you're promised to. And she's like, oh, I don't have an intended, and I don't intend to marry at all. And the word play is excellent. The hero is a carpenter as well as a news writer, so we love a working hero. I'm so mad. Caroline came and sat with me for like 30 seconds. I got to pet her for a minute, and now she's just standing or sitting, I don't know, standing, I would say standing. Standing on the carpet, looking at me, being very cute, refusing to hang out. Hurtful. This is very rude. Back to Bev. So something that I'm very much enjoying, about this book is that the hero like does not know what to make. Like he does not know what to make of the heroine, and so he's like, she puts on like a buffalo coat, and he's like, do all women dress like this? And she's like, all women with sense. And it's powerful energy. I'm enjoying it. Someone has come crawling back. Please sit with me. Please. I'll give you treats. Fine. Screw you. I don't need you anyways. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Hello, my love. Look at this little rascal. Hello, baby. I mean, very cute. I love you very much. Okay. I also just love the heroine, like, is kind of starting to like chat with the hero at one point, like the first night that he's there, and she's like, okay, he's getting too friendly, and she goes, do you have a sister? And he's like, yeah, I do, her name's Melody. And she goes, what would you say to Melody if she ended up being stuck with a man for a few days? And he like freezes, and he's like, I would tell her to be careful. What are you doing? He's like, I would tell her to be careful. And Spring goes, I also want you to know that I have a rifle that I'm not afraid to use, and it's right next to my bed, so. And that's incredible, but then when you're in the hero's POV, it says, the next question she asked about his sister had been unexpected, yet sent the message she wanted to convey. If he got out of line, she'd shoot him. And that's just incredible. Like, that's powerful there. Hello, monkey. Oh, she's finally sitting with me, which means today is a good day. You can't see anymore, but she's just hanging out. Two gal pals. Two gal pals. Also, now I have Think of Me Fondly stuck in my head, so that's a fun time. Think of me fondly. Something I'm enjoying about this book is that Spring is like giving me grumpy hero vibes, but she's the heroine. And I love seeing that role reversal of like I feel like it's always the heroine is like the sunshine one and the hero is the grumpy one, but she's kind of grumpy and I like her a lot. I think she's really cool. Little update. I am on chapter 3. Excuse me, I'm a little sleepy. I'm really enjoying this. I like that Snow is a little, not Snow, Spring. I like that Spring is a little prickly. I think she's really fun. Garrett's a pretty go with the flow hero. And we've already established that Spring's into him, like in her head, not IRL, because obviously why would she do that? So, I will keep y'all posted. So the hero and the heroine are chatting over dinner. I feel slouchy, but I just want to hang out with my girl, with the princess. Anyways, so the hero and the heroine are chatting over dinner, and they're talking about how he's engaged to someone else, and how he like doesn't want to be engaged, and she's like, why don't you want to marry her? And he's like, well, she doesn't think that women have much to benefit from marriage. And Spring's like, a girl after my own heart, I agree. And she's like, is that the only reason why you don't want to marry her? Because she doesn't want to marry you. And he goes, in part, but the other is that if I marry, I want it to be someone who fills my heart the way that my mother fills my father's heart. He adores her. And she's like, oh, so you believe in love? And I'm like, oh my God, Spring is every, like, she's every old school hero. Like, doesn't believe in love, surly, like, and I just so enjoy the role reversal. It's so good. It's so delicious.
Isn't it? Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice?
God only knows what I'd be without you. Oof. Okay.
Oh, sorry, monkey.
So I just read. I feel like I look really lame.
You're being so cute, precious.
So I just read. How far am I? I'm like 22% in. And the heroine went into a saloon to check on some scotch that she had ordered, and she kind of like talks about like, oh, like she used to have her wild days, where she'd like go into saloons all the time, but now she doesn't. And as she's like checking in on her scotch, this guy walks in and says, if it isn't the most well-used mouth in the territory, about Spring, and he's like being so rude. And she like walks away without saying anything to him, and he goes, don't try and ignore me, you little whore. And it's just like, ugh, so awful. And like there's a bunch of like there's several people who like try and step in and are like, ooh, because I think Spring, yes, she pulls a gun on him because he like starts coming at her, and so she pulls a gun on him. And it says something like, he says, if you shoot me in front of these witnesses and you'll hang, and she said, I'll do it gladly because you'll no longer be walking this earth. The girl you enjoyed beating up has wanted you dead a long time. And like, first of all, like that whole interchange is brutal, but also like that, oh, like that hints at some backstory that's going to be pretty sad. So I'm not looking forward to that, but it's also, I'm excited because it tells us a little bit more about Spring. Bust down a curse. Shit. Oof. Oh God. Oh, that's brutal. So I'm like, they continue kind of sharing what happened, and essentially what happened is Spring's parents had this like older man that she like didn't know, and like did not want to marry, so she refused to marry him, and then her parents threw her out, and so she went to Matt, the guy who said a bunch of shit about her. She went to Matt's father and was like, because he bred and sold horses, and so she's like, could I work for you? She's always loved horses. She was 18, she was homeless, she didn't have anywhere to go. And this man's like, yeah, like, I'll give you a job and give you a place to stay, but I just want to have sex with you whenever I want. And it says that, like, she started working for him, and, like, he would let his son have sex with her, and, like, ugh. God, it's just brutal. So, that's a real shit hand. So I've read through to chapter 5 of Wild Rain. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like that the heroine is very much like a grump, and she's a little abrasive. I think Spring is really exciting as a heroine. I love seeing heroines that are like a little atypical, at least like atypical to like traditional like sunshine heroines. I like Garrett as well. He's not as like as much of a standout to me as Spring is, but he is like kind of like thoughtful and like gentle and just generally like good vibes.
Oh, hi, sweet.
I'm very interested. I'm really most interested in Spring in this book. I feel like she's the real standout. Like I want to know more about like her backstory and her character and like what happened. So yeah, I'm about 25% through right now. I'll probably pick this up again at some point. I'm looking for a new audiobook. So the next time we chat, I should have some more book-related info for you. Hey friends, I'm checking in day 7 of the Black Author Readathon. It's late in the evening. I've just been kind of weekend cleaning, prepping for Monday. As you can see, it's a no makeup day for me. I've got a lot of those recently. Anyways, I have gotten actually quite a bit of reading done in the last day or so. I started a new audiobook. It is, oh, actually I have it right here. So I'm listening to the audiobook. This is narrated by Sean Kristen, again, right after the Holly Trent. I can't remember the female narrator's name. But I want to say it's like 8 parts and I'm on part 6, so I'm getting pretty close to the end. I read this book, I loved this book, and the audio narration is phenomenal. The hero is from New York, and like Sean Kristen like gets, and I mean I'm not like from New York, so I can't speak to it, but like I can tell that he's doing some specific accent things to like portray this character, which is really fun, and like they're very like small but like noticeable, and that's cool. And also he's really great Spanish accent. Anyways, I digress. The audio narration is phenomenal. The premise of this one is the heroine Julia works as like at a nonprofit that it feels like it's like a company comparable to Nordstrom. And so she like works in their outreach or nonprofit for this company called Sturm. And the hero, Rocco, is this hotshot consultant who's been hired to look at how to consolidate and streamline costs so that they can go from a public company to a private company, or private company to public company. And like it's very likely that he would end up cutting her program that she's doing. And so it's kind of like, it's not really enemies to lovers, it's more like they're like in a forced space of opposition where like, oh, we can't do this because of like reasons, for plot reasons. But like the tension is incredible. They're immediately both very attracted to each other, and like they're just like good people trying to be okay and not lose themselves to this person that they're very much into. It's so good. Oh, and I also have, Adriana sent me this book, and she gave me this postcard that is of Julia and Rocco. And like he's very much giving some like Henry Cavill realness here, and I'm into it. He's such a gentleman, but he's also such a dirty talker. It's so cute. Her family's great. Adriana Herrera does great like family stuff. Anyways, this book is phenomenal. I'm really enjoying the audiobook. I expect to finish that tomorrow. I took a quick break from Sweet Rain? Spring Rain? Wild Rain? Wild Rain. I took a break from Wild Rain to buddy read Sweatpants Season by Danielle Allen with Amanda and Ellie on Instagram. Mostly I've just been spamming Amanda's DMs about this book, and I was enjoying it so much I totally sped ahead and just finished it. But that one is really fun. So the heroine, Akila, is like a freelance writer, and she is like taking this writing class, or not writing, photography class, because she wants to like be able to post photos that are on par with her story so she can kind of like promote her brand. She's taking this class and she runs into this guy Carlos who's like super hot, and she's like immediately has chemistry with him. But then she finds out that he's like in this podcast that's it's called Date Night with the Boys, with the Lost Boys, and it's like pretty sexist. It's put on by like these 3 frat boys, and she finds out that he's one of them, and she's like, I thought you were like this perfect dude, I thought you were really nice, and it turns out you're in this like thing that's like really misogynistic and like turns women into objects, and like I can't, but they're partnered together for this project. And so like again, it's one of those things where it's kind of enemies to lovers, but it's really more like they're in opposition for plot reasons, because they're kind of working on this project together. And also she finds out that they're like this dream company that she's been wanting to work at for ages she's applied for this position, and she thinks she's got it, but they're like, oh, we're going to hire you and this other person to write like this pieces about being single in the city, and it's Carlos. And so like they're kind of vying for the same job because they're kind of series writers for now, but one of them will get like a permanent job. And so they keep kind of interacting, and the whole crux of this is she's like, I can't believe that you would be a part of this, because the other two guys, mostly there's like city boy, country boy, and they call him Los Cabos because his last name is Carlos Los. And like she's like, city boy is a total misogynistic prick and he's awful, and the things that he's saying and telling, like the advice he's giving is really, really damaging. And I can't believe that you are a part of this. And he's like, no, like it's really not that bad. Like I think that you're being judgmental, or like I think that you're judging it before you're really giving it a chance. But like she's right, like it's horrible. And eventually what happens is she writes about date night and they fire back with some like not great things, and Carlos tries to like chill it down, but like also kind of doesn't in some ways. And then they kind of keep firing back, and she and her younger sister ends up on this like newsletter that they make where they're like literally objectifying women, and like men were like submitted photos of women that they are like talking to or something, and someone submitted her younger sister who has the same initial, and so City Boy, thinking that it's because it's I can't remember her last, they both have A first names and I can't remember their last name, but he like sees it and he thinks that it's Aquila and puts her on there just to like mess with her and be like awful. And then she's so mad, she's like, I'm gonna go on the show and tear these people a new one because it's terrible. So she goes on the show and Carlos is like, are you sure you want to do this? I like don't think this is a good idea. And she's like, no, like they need to be confronted. And so she goes on the show and it's like kind of like a nightmare, and they're like really, really awful to her. And like Carlos tries to shut it down, but also like they're on air and he can't really control it. And she like calls City Boy out and is like, what you're peddling is horrible, and you're a misogynist, and like you're telling people that women are objects. Anyways, and she's like, you know what you did, and I can't believe that you did that. Like that's scum. And the other two guys are like, wait, what? And then when you find out is that he knew, like he had done this whole thing just to mess with her, but with the whole newsletter thing, and she overhears him because she like forgets something and goes back. And so she's furious, and she's like, Carlos, I like cannot even talk to you because of who like you're around, and like these two people are like, this is horrible. And so she like, I'm done with you. And then she like gets the job that they're both kind of vying for, and they're like having this like last show for their photography class, and she shows up and she's like not speaking to him anymore, but he's like desperate to talk to her, and he's like, I heard what happened, I'm so sorry, I left the show, like I'm not doing it anymore. And they make up, and then they're like kind of together. And that one it was really interesting. It was, in some ways it was really fun in that it was my first read by Danielle Allen, and like I thought that her voice was really playful, it was really fun, I loved her heroine. She had a really great friend group, and they were like, their banter with the friends was really good. I also loved the chemistry between Carlos and Aquila. It was really good, very hot, their banter was good as well. But the one thing that it's at times difficult to read is like there is just like so much shit that Aquila has to put up with. Like there's the whole like the Lost Boys stuff, and then there's like a couple like of their like fans and listeners who are just like super misogynistic and rude to her, and there's this like other woman in this class who's like just obnoxious and is like on like some project was like, what's the ideal woman? And she's like, oh, thin. And Aquila's like, we have to, like, if we're gonna be partners, we have to agree on what we put on this paper. And she's like, oh, well then you should compromise. Anyways, there's just like a lot of forces that Aquila comes up against that are just like straight up antagonistic and rude. And it was like kind of hard to read just because like it's exhausting to personally deal with people being awful. And so like to read about it was also a little bit hard. But I thought it was like very realistic and well done. It was just like, oh, I just want good things for her. I want her to be okay and successful. But I mean, I would probably give it a 4-star. It was really good. It was hot. It was fun. I'm excited to read. There's another Danielle Allen book on my list, Truth or Dare. And I definitely want to get to that one now because I really liked Sweatpants season. So I read that one, finished it today. Talked about Here to Stay, and then I have Wild Rain and the Heiress Hunt, and I'm hoping to finish at least one of those tonight. We'll see. My friends who I'm doing the butter read with are almost all done with Heiress Hunt, so we'll see. I am gonna jump in the shower, do some reading, and then I might check in a little bit later. See you guys. All right, I've done some reading. It is about, is it 1 a.m.? I think it's around 1 a.m., but I had to finish the book. I ended up finishing my arc of the Heiress Hunt. Since this book doesn't come out till March, I'm gonna keep it unspoilery as much as I can. Honestly, this one was a bit of a miss for me. I probably would give it 3 stars. Like, it was, as always, Joanna's a very compelling writer. Her books are very hot. But I felt like the hero, he deserved more cold storage. He didn't earn his way out of cold storage, and I also think that I wanted more agency from Maddie, the heroine. So yeah, it was a fun read, but it didn't do what I wanted it to, unfortunately. So I finished this. I need to write a review tomorrow so that I can say things about it while it's still fresh in my head. I have oh gosh, maybe an hour, 2 hours left in my audiobook. So I'll be finishing that tomorrow morning. I need to finish Wild Rain. I'll probably finish that tomorrow, but I need a new audiobook. So that is where I'm at for reading. I think I'm gonna cap off this particular video, have a little weekend reading vlog. So I will be seeing y'all in a little bit. Hope that you have enjoyed this most recent update. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good night. Well, it's not night for you. It's night for me. See you guys later.